This man is getting ready to eat, but was killed by a harpoon. The killer also greeted him politely. Then I dragged him onto the road and rubbed him like crazy. But the next day, the killer was also killed by a harpoon in the same location. It turns out that he comes with non-stop resurrection, experiencing different ways to die every day, like cutting off the head with a knife. Blown up. Gentle by the pistol. Every day at 7 a.m., the girls around him will wake him up on time. Then a 40-meter machete was waved. He put his shoes down and put his clothes in the stall. But the killer wouldn't give up. The man had no choice but to take action. Every movement is very skilled, even skilled to make people feel distressed. Gatlin from the helicopter will sieve Hitman 1 into a sieve. The man only needs to throw a throwing knife to kill Killer 2, but Gatlin will also shoot indiscriminately. But he can still sit back and die in the bullet. This is his 138th rebirth. What will happen in the next second is already memorized. The man put on his coat and jumped down the window. Final perfect landing, but it doesn't always work out so well for him. Before that, he's been run over by trucks 32 times. Finally, he had to grab a sport car. He can even shout the same lines as the car owner. Get in a sports car just to avoid killer number 3, as long as the car performance is good. If you cooperate with the bold and careful man who doesn't look at the traffic lights, you can easily get rid of killer number 3. If you are lucky enough to run a red light and don't get killed, then the next killer will be even more ferocious. This small guy likes to play with bombs very much. If you are not careful, you will be blown up by him. When shopping, you will also be ambushed by someone who looks like him. But only this knife girl. Just bump into him and have to die, because he is a physical plug-in. The deadliest, if you manage to escape by chance. There is a beautiful Chinese woman who always wants to go to the mountains, but time doesn't allow it at all, because by 12:47 she will be dead. Until this day, he actually lived 3 minutes longer. Instead, he went to the underground game hall. It seems that he must have a tracker installed in his body. Therefore, it was not found underground. It reminded him of his ex-wife, who was a PhD in physics. Could it be that he tampered with himself, but only got the dead end of the ex-wife who just died? And the killer soon surrounded him again. At this moment, men finally understand that there is only one life pass to break the time. So at the next resurrection, he caught killer number 1. The knife stabbed and began to ask the whereabouts of the locator. The killer wants to say, but he doesn't speak English. And the man sent him away. Finally, the man comes to the bar again, straight to the toilet. He searched for a long time and still couldn't find anything. His friend, who was a security guard, told him that the tracker was mostly in his teeth. The man goes back to the toilet and starts pulling his teeth. The tracker was found in the second tooth. Killer pushes in and shot him on the head. 145th resurrection. Man uses trackers in teeth to lure killer. Take all the killers in one pot, and then there's only one thing left. That is to find the boss behind the scenes and find out the truth. The man drove to the experimental base, 1 foot on the accelerator, ready to knock open the door. The door turned out to be too hard and hit and killed. This time, he learned to be smart. He didn't drive the car, but let the sports car fly, then pressed the remote control to detonate the bomb. But I didn't expect the bald head to suddenly appear. The third time, the man gave up and broke through, but to kill killers who look like themselves. Put on his identity and swagger into the base. In the elevator, he was exposed because he couldn't swipe his car. Eventually, he was abused to death by security guards. He attacked the security guard. But as soon as I got out of the elevator, I was surrounded by a group of security guards. The male protagonist is ruthless and doesn't talk much, so he directly headshots himself. 5th resurrection. The man just killed the security guard. I looked up and found the camera above. No wonder he dies every time. For the 6th time, he finally sneaks into the lobby. But I didn't expect my most feared knife girl to be here for the next few attempts. The knife girl can rely on the coquettish position. Then cut the male protagonist into 8 pieces like cutting vegetables. I am Guanyan. And Guanyan has done this for the last man. It seems that the gun will not work. You have to be cheaper than him. So he found the Chinese master in the bar, begging the master in swordsmanship. But the master said that Chinese martial arts are extensive and profound. And for men, time is not an issue at all. Each time he connects with the master for an hour, then commits suicide with a knife and start over. Later, the two fought back and forth. Until finally, he defeated the master. Finally, he returned to the hall. He put down the pistol and started to fight. In the first round, he cut off the knife girl's long hair. In the second round, he can block all attacks. In the third round, even if there is no sword in hand. Finally, there is the mysterious behind-the-scenes boss. But when I saw the boss, I found that the last big boss was so weak. It turns out that all this is the work of the ex-wife. The boss wanted to develop circular machines to rule the world. When the man's ex-wife finds out, she sets the male protagonist's DNA to switch on and off the circulator. Then the man saw the body of his ex-wife. Turns out he was killed at 7:14 in the morning. Men wake up at 7 a.m. every day. If he can pass in 14 minutes, maybe save the ex-wife from the cycle? Thinking of this man, he committed suicide. He started looking for all kinds of speed pass. The fastest record also takes half an hour and 10 minutes. It was impossible for him to recall his romantic past. This leaves the child helpless. The wife was also killed by the boss. The man starts to fall apart. Let the killer kill him in the first level. Due to the constant pain, he suddenly woke up, and this time he jumped directly into the helicopter to kill the killer. This time it took him less than 5 minutes. The men first used machine guns to kill all the assembled killers. Then one man, one-shot kill. At this moment, the security captain is about to strangle his wife. Finally, the two embrace each other affectionately. The ex-wife told him that if he didn't turn off the time loop period, his power will grow. It is powerful enough to destroy the world. The only way to turn off the machine now is to let men into it. But the ex-wife said that there is a high probability that you will not be able to get out. The man listened without hesitation. He walked in with his head held high. After hundreds of resurrections, he has long looked down on life. The film ended with an open ending. One possibility is that this is all a conspiracy by the ex-wife. His purpose is to get revenge on his adulterous husband. Or how will he end in your eyes?